Hi, welcome to Pastor Talk. I'm Pastor Steve. I was listening to Herman Cain recently, and he used an expression to describe the spin that the White House, puts on different things, trying to make us think something's good when it really isn't good, or something's good for us and it's really not really good for us. And they put a spin, or they use political correctness in different ways. And the Herman Cain uses the expression, all they're doing is putting lipstick on a pig. In other words, they're trying to make the pig look good. They're trying to make the thing that they want us to believe look good when it really isn't. And so I decided to title this devotion today, Putting Lipstick on a Pig. Occasionally there's subject matters that we're involved with in day-to-day basis, either from the media or from society or culture or even in the world, but there's different things that are either controversial, but there's some things that just are not directly mentioned or spoken about in the Bible that we as Christians, we have opinions, and we need to know, what should we believe? What does the Bible say? And sometimes some of them aren't directly spoken about, and we still need to discuss these things. And there's going to be times we're going to disagree. There's going to be times it's controversial. There's going to be times when some believers believe one way and the others other way, but they need to be discussed, and some things that we avoid because they're such unpleasant subjects and controversial. Today I want to talk to you about the issue of Islam. I don't believe this is very controversial in the church. I believe a believer, one that truly knows what true Christianity is, and looks at Islam and looks at it, recognizes that Islam is not a peaceful religion. But the political correctness, the spin that even the White House, even our presidents, I've heard 2 or 3, and shame on them, trying to tell us that Islam is a peaceful religion. I believe this is actually, as Herman Cain would say, this is just putting lipstick on a pig. This is spin. You see, Islam is not a peaceful religion. How can we look at the things that go on in the name of Islam around the world, and the events that we hear, even the little bit that they tell us? They even try to avoid telling us a lot, that it's a peaceful religion. This is just putting lipstick on a pig. I was recently looking on the internet for some end time stuff, and I was looking at how many wars are going on, because we know that according to the Bible that there'll be more earthquakes and plagues and pestilences, and in the end time be perilous times and more wars than in rumors of wars, the scripture says. And so I thought I'd look that up. And I looked up wars, and I found that there's a list of wars for 2014 that's either happened or going on, ongoing wars, most of them, in the different countries around the world. You and I are separated from most of these and wouldn't even be aware of many of these things and many of these wars going on around the world. But I thought I'd look them up and look and I want you to hear what I found out. As I looked up, they had them separated, and they had how many groups and who was doing the wars and so on. In Africa, there was, in 2014, 26 countries involved in war or ongoing wars. In Asia, 16 countries. In Europe, 9 countries. In Middle East, 8 countries. And in Americas, the Americas, primarily I guess you'd say South America probably, and even Mexico, you've got, or Central America, you've got even there 5 countries involved in war. Around the world, even though it's not here in America, around the world in 2014, 64 wars or ongoing wars. 596 different militia or guerrillas or separatist groups involved in these wars, and they name each one of the groups. And I found out something very interesting. It wasn't really a surprise to me, but the majority of these groups are Islamist groups. Did you hear me, beloved? The spin, or the putting the lipstick on the pig, is trying to tell us that only extremists, and that's the terminology you hear most now in our media, is only extremists are involved in these evil things that we hear about in the events around the world. You know, this is so sad that people could even believe such a thing. And I asked myself, how could they believe it? And the only thing I can think of is from 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 11. It said, because people have rejected the truth, and this was an end time verse, by the way, in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, that because people have rejected Jesus Christ, they've rejected the truth of the cross, they've rejected the way of salvation, that God will send them a delusion, that they will believe a lie. And I truly believe that we are in those perilous times. I believe we're in the end time, and I believe this is exactly what's happened. The world, those that are not Christians, have been sent a delusion. They will not see the truth. They believe a lie. And so many, it's controversial, I would have to say, in our society, obviously. I mean, it's such a delusion. I am amazed at how many people in our media and how many people can believe such a thing, and really will stand up to the fact that they say, well, it's really, most of the Islamists are peaceful, and they'll even stand up for them. And I'm thinking in my mind, how can they believe that? Do they not realize that if Islam takes over, even in America, if it takes over at some point, that these ones that are standing up for it, these liberals and ones in the media that try to tell you it's peaceful and it's only extremists, do they not realize that if jihad becomes law, if the Islamist and Islam takes over as a political system in America, that they'll kill them and behead them just like they would anybody else? And I look at the evil of it and I think, how can anybody believe it? And the only thing I can believe is because of what the scripture tells us about the end time, that God will send a delusion. You know, when I think about the evil, you know, if you just say a word against Islam or Allah or the Prophet Muhammad, did you know they believe you should die? If you are an infidel, not a believer, and you won't convert to Islam, they believe, and it's written in their Quran that you should die. And they believe that if you, there's just so many things. They have a death sentence for almost everything, from adultery to homosexuality to sodomy to murder. Death penalty for everything. But I mean, it's not a peaceful religion. And then I could really get, you might say, on a soapbox, because I've seen so much and read so much and seen videos so much on the evil that is perpetrated by Islam on women, on young girls, on the things that they do, all the things that the slave trade, the sexual immorality, the incest, just terrible things and evil that they do to women. Oh, beloved, don't believe the lie that Islam is a peaceful religion. Don't fall for it. I don't care how many times they spin it. I don't care how many times they tell you this. Oh, beloved, Islam is an evil, not really a religion, it's a political system. Do not believe the spin. Do not believe the lipstick they're putting on the pig. Well, I hope to include more videos with subject matters that need to be discussed. But for today, this is Pastor Talk for you. And this is Pastor Steve. And God bless you.